Hey everyone, it's time for Old Roommates. This week on the show, we revisit The Good Son, starring Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood. So find yourself a secluded treehouse way up in the sky and settle in for another episode.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
And this is Christina.
And this week we are discussing The Good Son, the 1993...
I said The Good Son, right? I didn't say The Good Place. Okay, good. I just realized, I'm like, wait.
The 1993 film, written by Ian McEwan, although with other writers, and directed by Joseph Rubin, who, of course, gave us The Stepfather and Sleeping with the Enemy. Christina, we begin, as we always do, by talking about then. When was the first time you saw The Good Son?
So I saw The Good Son many years ago. Probably it was definitely on video.
Okay.
And I think I was just curious about it because people were talking about Macaulay Culkin. I did not see it in the movies. I definitely rented it. Mm-hmm. And I remember liking it.
Yeah.
I thought the performances were really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did a really nice job. It was like kind of chilling. Mm-hmm. And the ending surprised me. I don't think I knew the ending.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought he was really creepy, and I thought the movie was very suspenseful. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yet I've never seen it again. Till now.
I haven't seen it since. Until the revisit.
Of course. But yeah, what about you, Brian?
Thank you for finally asking. So I saw this in the movie theater.
Of course you did.
And I really didn't like it until the end. The ending blew me away. I thought the ending was really well done, really well acted, and truly surprised me. Like, I was like, I cannot believe, to the point where I left going, would she have really done that?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, really? Like, her own child. But I was kind of, honest, I was a little, bored. I think where the movie lost me when I first saw it the first time in the movie theater was the hide and go seek scene, because I felt like that should have been, you have this little like crazy killer in the dark, that should have been really the scariest part, and I just remember being like, oh, but what's really going to happen? Like, right, It's like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, he's going to scare his sister? So, or, I mean, he's not going to kill her, or he might, but, so I didn't feel the suspense and the tension really until the last probably 15, 20 minutes of the movie. And, which is interesting because now I'm saying this out loud, The Stepfather from 1987 has a similar slow burn where like it all comes down to those last 15, 20 minutes and it's really scary. It's certainly a different kind of ending. But all that to say, I was not a big fan of The Good Son. Then. So now we will dive into now, and I'm dying to hear. When did you rewatch this?
I watched this a few days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, probably like 3 or 4 days ago. So I had enough time to digest it.
Oh, good.
Yes. So I turned this on expecting to be, I don't know, it's not necessarily scared, but what's the word? Like
creeped out.
Creepy and have a lot of suspense.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell ya, I wasn't that creeped out by it this time around. So, I mean, the first thing I noticed is that, obviously, like the first scene, I actually didn't remember his mother dying.
Okay.
I was really fuzzy on a lot of the specifics.
Yeah.
I was like, what happens? I felt like maybe both parents had died or something where he permanently ended up having to live at this house.
Okay.
That was one thing. Because then even as I was watching it, I'm like, okay, she dies. So, and then he goes away. So does he get in an accident? Like, that's kind of the way I was thinking. I'm like, is that what happens? And it would have made a little bit more sense because the Macaulay Culkin character, that could have been like a turning point for him. Like, oh, wait, he's living here forever now?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just for a week?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it would have made a little bit more sense. Of
Yes.
course, it's a lot of tragedy for one child, so maybe that's why they didn't do that. But this time, the scene in the hospital, I mean, it was okay. I wasn't, like, overcome with emotion.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was particularly effective in terms of sadness.
Yeah.
It was a little weak. I don't know,
Yeah.
thin, I guess. And even, like, the funeral, like, I don't even know if those scenes were necessary, to be honest. Like, I feel like it didn't bring a lot to the table this time around for me.
Yeah, I think to be honest, those scenes sort of raised more questions than they answered.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a time issue, I think, for me, because, like, for example, the mother has died, and then the father explains that if he just does this job in Tokyo, this one job, and they'll be set for a long time,
Yeah,
and he can be
you won't
with
have
his
to leave
son,
him again.
and all that. But so then they decide to drive. They're going to drive 11 states in 3 days. And at one point, the father, because the son is just sort of feeling, I guess, nostalgic and missing his mom, really spells it out for the son.
Mm-hmm.
And says, she's not coming back. And then Mark, played by Elijah Wood, says, no. And he jumps out of the Jeep and runs across the desert. Okay. So the music swells.
Yeah, lots
this
of swelling.
Dramatic, swelling music. Where is he going to go? Like, first of all, he's a little kid. He can barely run.
Right.
Second of all, the father can run faster. Third of all, this whole scene, really, I said it's not well acted. It's not well written. And it goes nowhere. And so to your point, it's like, why bother?
Yeah, it doesn't make... I didn't think any of those beginning scenes added much to this film.
It was really underthought. Because to your point, what if Mark just showed up at the house? It's like, now... And like they're talking to Henry, played by Macaulay. What if they said, Henry, Mark's been through a lot. So we really want him to, whatever. And that... like you're saying, makes Henry snap. Mm-hmm. And then you really aren't sure if it's Mark or Henry doing these things. Like, where's the imagination here?
Yeah.
Like...
yeah, I think it would have been so much nicer if it was more of a mystery, like, who's the good son?
Yeah, exactly. And it blows my mind that how sort of cold, like, they are to this kid. Like, at one point, someone says to him, I think it's the father, or the uncle, says to Mark, who's just lost his mother... It's the father, actually. He says, hey, it's only 2 weeks, so cheer up. It's like, maybe he's still a little sad about his mother dying, jerk.
So, yes, this is one of my first notes.
Yeah.
So, first of all, they were all contemplating about 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks is not that bad.
Yeah.
First of all, they were like, I don't know if I can leave for 2 weeks. Just leave for 2 weeks and come back. 2 weeks is nothing. But anyway, besides that...
I mean, he did just lose his mother.
But still, it's 2 weeks. I mean, he's already in mourning. Like,
okay.
Or, I don't know, take him with you or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna... I don't know. I understand where the dilemma was, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was that big of a decision. If he's gonna be all set...
yeah.
and not have to leave him again, like, let's give him 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then we can start the mourning process when we get back. But my thought was... he says to him, I miss her too, but she's gone. So I said, can't he let him dream a little bit? Right? Like, because he said something like, I'll see her again someday.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, I miss her too, but she's gone.
He pulls the car over. I mean, it's a bit dramatic.
It's very dramatic. Yeah. And I'm like, what is with these fathers?
Yeah.
Sleepless in Seattle. Never-ending story. These kids lost their mother.
Yeah.
This is the third movie we revisited in the past year, even.
Where the father is
totally vacant.
Not understanding. He's not understanding.
Really, really strange. Like, let these kids die. And they're all sons, too. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Like, man up or something.
Yeah,
right?
I think that is what it is.
If it was a girl, I wonder if it would be a
never-ending
different story.
Stop daydreaming, right?
Stop daydreaming.
Sleepless in Seattle is like... hey,
moving.
I need to have sex. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's so crude.
It's so crude.
So,
but I did say there's so much swelling music.
yeah, it's a lot of music in
A
this.
lot of music.
And I think just bad music.
Yeah.
It's like, where it doesn't make sense.
No.
So, one little unintentional laugh, there are a few, if I'm being honest, where, so Wendy Crewson is the actress who plays Susan. Okay. Susan is Henry's mother, and I actually think she's pretty good in this.
I thought she was pretty good too.
But I don't understand a lot of Susan's motivations or decisions. For example, like even in the beginning, she says the dad says to Susan, oh my God, this is confusing. Mark's dad says to Susan, thank you so much for doing this. And Susan says, Janice would have done the same. And I asked, would Janice have gone to your funeral? Like, she didn't even go to the funeral. Like, and they were such good friends.
And they hadn't seen each other for like 8 years or something.
Yeah, it was
Didn't
super.
they say something like that?
When Mark walked in, she's like, Mark? Oh my God, you've grown so much. It's been 8 years.
It was a long time.
How does that happen?
And it's because they live too far away.
It's like there's planes.
I don't know. It was weird. Yeah.
But so now we understand this family has suffered some loss. There was a baby that drowned in the bathtub.
Yes.
And I would imagine, I don't have children, but I would imagine that when that happens, you decide right then and there that you will let your children roam all over the Maine coastline, around the biggest cliffs in God's creation.
Who's watching these children?
No one. I mean, like it's like Susan. Your kid died in a bath and in 6 inches of water. You'd be a little more, slightly more. It would have been more interesting if she was like so confused and strung out. Maybe she was being medicated,
or at least depressed and vacant.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Because then it would actually add on to this idea of oh my God, is Mark the troublemaker here?
Right.
And it would have this movie is so underthought, and it could have been so much better. If Susan was really a mess from the loss of her baby, that could have infused so many of her decisions or lack of decision making.
Or just not paying attention.
Oh, Susan doesn't have a clear head. She doesn't know what she saw.
Right.
Mom, are you feeling okay? Are you still upset about what was the baby's name? Richard
or something. Yeah.
Oh my God. But no one even thought this through. Instead, Susan is completely in the right, completely well-adjusted, but she lets her little children, run everywhere.
Through the woods, on
over
cliffs,
highways.
And who built that treehouse?
Oh my God.
The treehouse is ridiculous. Okay, it is so high up. I can't even tell you how high up it is. It is higher than a 2-story building.
Yes, it is.
Easily. Maybe a 3-story building. In these kids, it's basically you can go up there on, these woods that are attached to this tree, right? Climbing up so much so that you're tired.
Yeah.
By the time you get up there, tired. Took forever to get up there. And then you're in this treehouse with no walls.
Barely a complete floor.
Yeah. Who made this?
Yeah.
Who made this? Are we to believe that this child made this?
Yeah. And
how is he getting wood?
How is he getting wood up there?
How is he getting up there? It didn't make any sense to me. And is an adult making it for him? Thinking this is a good idea for my child to be playing up here.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
It's did they know the treehouse existed? They must have. Because then I think one of them did say, they're probably in the treehouse.
Yeah, the treehouse that's about friggin' 700 feet up in the air.
Or the shed, which has all these dangerous tools. I mean, there's just no parental supervision at all.
None.
Even when they go out to dinner and they leave these 2 little kids in charge of this giant house. I mean, come on.
Yeah, not good parenting. Not good parenting at all.
I did like the acting of so they go into that warehouse and they start breaking the windows.
Yes.
And then the guy who's like, "Get back here, you little bastards!" Which, he does the accent, and it's I mean, are they that hard to find? How many people even live on this little Maine
you have
town?
to know. I mean,
Come
there's
on.
one house per every 6 miles. think we know who it is.
A big note I have on this page is this would be so much better without music.
Yeah, the music choices were, I said, the music choices were kind of ... interesting. Which is not a good thing.
Oh, we left out the part where they completely have to like walk across town to dump a dead dog down a well.
Oh God!
No one saw these kids.
Noticing this.
No one saw these.
No
kids
one's
do
missing
this.
the dog.
Yep.
And yeah, that scene was really disturbing too. But
Good.
I don't know. There's some things that were well done and disturbing.
Okay.
But I feel like a lot of it fell short. I feel like I didn't think he was that good. I didn't think Macaulay Culkin was that good in this. There were a couple of little scenes that he kind of creeped me out. But for the most part, he was just like, I'm going to talk like a robot.
Christina, that is my note throughout.
Yes.
He's actually pretty bad in this.
We're going to talk about death now.
Well, also, it's like Joe Pesci wrote his dialogue.
Yeah,
it's very like, you like my sister, huh? It'd be a shame if anything happened to her pretty little face.
Yeah,
like, what? Who are you? Are you 40 in the mafia?
It's really, really weird. I wrote a note about it somewhere. I don't know where, but he just, I couldn't really put my finger on it. Like, he just didn't, you know what?
He didn't talk like a kid.
He didn't talk like a kid, but even like his nice person, like the nice person persona isn't convincing as a child.
Not at
either.
all. No.
So it would be one thing if he was like a normal kid and then all of a sudden he's like, wait, now I'm going to be creepy. But like he wasn't convincing in either end.
Hey, Dad, can I please take Mark into the woods tomorrow? I mean, like, he's just so weird. Like, so he has one good scene.
Yeah.
When his mother is confronting him and she finds the duck.
Yes,
and
that is a good scene.
He says, it was mine before it was his.
Mm-hmm.
That is something a little kid would say. And he nails the line reading. He actually says it in sort of a whisper. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if the movie decided that was the approach, that this was still a little kid with a real sickness, it'd be so much scarier. Instead, you have this like little like Macaulay Culkin mafia kid who everything's a threat. Everything's a threat.
Yeah.
If I let go, do you think you could fly? Batman.
Everything is a question. Every single thing out of his mouth was a question.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
Yeah. Oh, he walks. I laughed out loud when his sister's in the hospital, right?
Yes.
And he just fucking walks into the hospital.
How did he get to the hospital?
How?
How did he
walks
get there?
in.
Again, no one's paying attention.
No one. But the mom's in the room.
Yes.
He takes a pillow to smother his sister to death. And the mom's like, Henry? He's like, oh, hello, Mom. I'm like, oh my God. His acting is
his acting is really, really bad. Elijah's was a little bit better.
Yes.
I thought he was at least convincing as a child. And even when they started like thinking that he was kind of crazy, that like I felt like he was a little bit more convincing. And that was a part that kind of got me a little more interested in this movie. Like, oh yeah, I forgot that they're kind of thinking he might be doing this stuff. But they didn't go far enough into it. Mm-hmm, like, they just left it there. It's like, what? Come on.
Well, like the doctor saying, like, well, you've been under a lot of stress. And although, listen, I mean, anytime a kid holds up a knife to a kid's throat and says,
that was a bad move.
I could kill you.
Yeah, that was a bad move on his part.
Oh, God, what do I have here? I said the music, scenes in which the music is ridiculous. The tree climbing.
Yeah.
Henry talking about Richard turning blue. Mm-hmm. Henry barking back at the dog. The rocking chair on the porch at night, which it was the wind blowing a rocking chair back and forth, and the music went crazy. It's called The Wind.
It's Wind.
And then Henry on the stairs. It's just like... so the things that I liked, I'll say this.
Okay.
Oh my God. Wait. Terrible. Not that I understood. Okay. So I liked Wendy Crewson as the mom, as Susan. Although originally it was supposed to be Mary Steenburgen. But the timing...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so there's all this whole story where Macaulay Culkin's dad wanted Macaulay in this movie to sort of shed the Home Alone thing. Yeah. And the movie producers was like, absolutely not. He's Macaulay Culkin. He's Home Alone. And he said, if you don't let him in this movie, we won't do Home Alone Part 2.
Oh,
and they're like,
interesting.
oh my God. So in order to make that happen, they had to delay production on this. By the time they were ready to film, Mary Steenburgen wasn't available anymore. So Wendy Crewson stepped in. I think she's actually pretty, like, really quite good at this.
I thought she was pretty good, yeah.
And the movie's ridiculous, but she's good in it. And then and then he wanted the daughter in there too. So they wrote the daughter in. Like, it's just crazy.
And she wasn't good at all.
I wrote, she's terrible. Not that I understand a single thing she said.
One thing that I thought was interesting was the parts that used to make me a little, like, scared.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, wow. Not even affected by it. The dog barking, I remember thinking that was so creepy. Mm-hmm. And that he was, like, really, like, that was when it really showed how nuts he was.
Yeah.
It was nothing this time around.
No.
Nothing.
No. To the point where when they kill the dog, when he kills the dog, it's like, I don't know if that warranted that reaction.
It was, I don't know why I felt the way I did before. I was very surprised about that.
I think part of it too, Christina, might be the fact that they out of nowhere, those scenes, they did slow motion. They did slow motion when he shot the dog.
Yep.
Slow motion when they were carrying the dead dog. Slow motion consistently with the sister in the ice skating.
Yes.
A lot of that was done in slow motion. When she's drowning in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, when you do that, it just clashed against the rest of the movie, because nothing else was done like that. And what did it even suggest? This movie's 86 minutes. That is short. And I actually wondered if they did that just to make the movie a little longer. Like, it was, and also, to be honest, it was kind of boring.
I thought it was very boring, too. I didn't find it to be suspenseful.
Yeah.
I didn't find it to be scary at all.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was that creepy, except for a couple of little moments. I thought he was effective, but not, I can't even think of him off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And when he was talking to his mother, I felt that was a good scene. I agree with you with the whole,
the shed,
thing. But I felt like everything, when I just started liking it, it was like, it fell short. It was like, I need more of that.
Yeah.
Give me more.
Yeah.
Give a little bit more. Like, even when I first saw it, I felt at the end, I could see why his mother chose Elijah over
Macaulay,
Henry, right? So, but this time watching it, it didn't seem like she had enough information and that she was even convinced that he was the one that, like, killed the baby or tried to kill the daughter.
Well, he tried to kill her. He pushed her off the cliff.
He tried to kill her too. Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
But I felt like she had more of a doubt in her mind
on rewatch,
even before all that. No, before the first one.
Okay.
I felt like she had more of a doubt.
All right.
That she was already doubting, like, oh my God, my child is up to no good or whatever, right? Like, he's the one that's evil, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I didn't see much of that at all this time. She went snooping around and found a duck.
Yeah.
And you could see that he was jealous. But is that really saying that he killed her?
Well, she was asking, "Where's the duck? Where's the duck? Where's the duck?" He's saying, "I don't know."
Right.
That's all off camera. This is all before the movie starts.
That's a kid thing to do. That is a kid thing to do.
But I also think, I think there's more to that Richard dying. Obviously he killed him. But I think, I think maybe a mother knows, know, and she probably just didn't want to face it. I think it was a little bit more than that, where she sees him walking into the hospital room where his sister's lying, and that's super weird. There were a couple other things where she's like, "Henry," and he's like, "Yeah, Mom." I think she was so depressed about Richard that she was slow on the uptake of how bad Henry was. But
that's giving her the benefit of the doubt. That's not in the writing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Like, that is a good explanation. But it wasn't in the movie.
No, it's not in the movie. Yeah. It's not. But then, but I do think, when he starts getting crazy in the shed and he tries to grab it away from her, and then he pushes her, and then she's on the cliff, and she thinks he's killed himself. She thinks he's jumped off the cliff.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh my God." And then he's like, looking for me, Mom. I mean, it was so fucking
Yeah.
crazy. Like, it's like Chucky from Child's Play. I mean, like, he just, like, runs and just pushes her, and she falls off the cliff. Then he takes a rock and tries to throw it at her. So, like,
I guess I would drop him. It just seemed like she had more of a suspicion before that. But that could just be my memory about it, too.
I think there were some other things going on, too, where it's like, I mean, which I didn't remember the first time around, but, like, Mark, when he's like, you're like her, or something like, you live in her too, or she lives in you too.
The whole
that
mother
was a
thing
lot.
was weird.
That was a lot.
I forgot all about him feeling like his mother was in Susan, which
yeah,
I mean that was a little nutty. I mean, when he woke up in the middle of the night and he thought it was her walking, I'm like, do you not remember that you live with another woman with a nightgown? Like, that was a bit much for me. See, and again, it's too thin. Like, if he had been a little bit more unstable during the day, it was all just too thin. Like, everything that they did. He could have been a little bit more depressed, or a little bit more, I need my mother. Or, I mean, he went to the cemetery and it didn't even affect him. You just buried your mother.
Yeah.
A cemetery is going to affect you.
Yeah.
Even just the conversations with the doctor, like, the doctor should have more of a suspicion. Maybe she should have had a conversation with the uncle if she felt like he was endangering people. All of that stuff should have been more.
She definitely gave me B. Arthur vibes.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I was like, I wish it was B. Arthur instead.
Yeah.
Mr. Highway. So now.
Yeah.
Okay, we see that is really scary.
Yeah.
We see, and not because of the movie. I think it's just as a plot device. That was fucking
really
awful.
Fucked up. Yeah.
We see a camper flip over upside down. We see about 15 cars smash into each other. Some head-on collisions. A car running out into a tree. Here's the news report. 4. Ready? Now, I'm talking like 12 cars?
Easily.
Let's say 10. Let's even go lower. 10. Yeah. 4 people were taken to the hospital for minor cuts and bruises. Now, they said after a pileup on the highway, they never mention Mr. Highway, the dummy that caused the accident. They never mentioned people said they saw little kids running off the bridge after.
Right.
They never said a prank almost killed people. But the people in that camper were fine. The camper flipped over. Yeah. How were they fine? Minor cuts and bruises. It was a miracle. Authorities say it was a miracle no one was hurt. Like, I'll say. Yeah,
I would say. Absolutely.
They totaled every single car in that scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's like, I mean, in that camper too. It's like in campers you are sleeping or playing Uno. And, like, no one was playing Uno when Mr. Highway drops and the camper flips over, Christina.
So the other thing about that is, Mark is already suspicious of him. Yeah. This is after he's killed the dog. He already knows something's up. Yeah. And he doesn't ask what he's going to do. He just follows him with this Mr. Highway guy. I mean, that's really stupid.
I agree with that.
That's really stupid. The other thing is, you have this 10 car pileup. Everything's sliding, squishing, blah, 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 blah. Not one person gets out of their car. Not one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, not one person.
And no one was hurt. So all the more reason. Jesus. I mean, and also, they're already looking up because they think this man's going to jump off the bridge. So they're already looking up and they're getting nervous. And that's why and then the thing falls. And that's why they react. So you mean to tell me everyone lived, but no one said to the news report, like, well, yeah, because we saw a man jump off the bridge. Right. We also saw 2 kids push a man off the bridge, depending on what angle you were driving at. But, like, none of that made sense. But it was really, I mean, just as a thing, it was very scary. I don't think it was well executed. Oh. And then Henry says to Mark, I feel sorry for you, Mark. You just don't know how to have fun. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, this is after he says, I promised you something amazing. Wait, I'm going to do my Macaulay. Okay. I promised you something amazing. Something you'll never forget. Where's the gratitude?
Because...
Can you believe no Oscar nomination for that?
Right. And how old is he in this movie? 9, 10?
I have no idea how old.
So gratitude is a word that kids use all the time.
Oh, yeah, it just flies off the tongue.
I did like Elijah's scene with the doctor, and it's in the trailer too, but I still think it was really good. When she's like, I don't believe in evil. And he says, you should.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yes. I did look at it differently, this conversations, and I don't think I looked at it this way when I watched it before. I looked at it how what he says and what he does is making him look guilty.
Right.
Did you see it? Like,
well, because he keeps saying, what if there was a boy? Because he doesn't want to get Henry in trouble necessarily. Right. So he's making it hypothetical. So the doctor thinks he's talking about him. Which is another big bag of bullshit when fucking Henry makes an appointment at the doctor.
Oh, he just shows
up.
Really?
He's like, I'm really scared for my friend. Yeah. I mean, this doctor should know better. She's a child psychologist.
Yeah. She's a bad one.
She is a bad one. Let's see.
The hide and seek house thing, the one thing that really kind of annoyed me at that one.
Yeah.
One switch turns out all the lights in the entire house.
I mean,
that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
like the whole. Maybe it's because if they don't live there year round, but it seems like they do.
That's one big switch for the entire all 3 floors. Come on.
I'm sorry, Christina.
Yeah.
Really quick, the budget on this was $17 million. It made $60 million.
Wow.
So it was not a bomb.
I felt like the little girl, talked about her before.
Yeah.
Didn't she seem a little too old for a bedtime story? He's like, I'll read you a bedtime story. She's a year younger than you, buddy. I think she's all set. And then nobody cares. So, all right. So they're a little suspicious of him, right? The parents. I'm going to say parents just because it's easier. They're a little suspicious of Elijah, right?
Yeah.
And he's worried that he's going to kill the sister in the middle of the night. So he stays in her room on the floor all night long.
Yeah.
The parents, they come home. Do they not wake him to say go to bed?
I guess not.
Do they not care? Does he not wake up when she wakes up?
Yeah,
Does she not wake up?
That is the part that was like, wait, he wouldn't wake up when they're getting ready to go out and go ice skating?
So he's just going to sleep on the floor all night and not wake up?
If you're
nobody says anything to him about it in the morning? Nobody ever says, what happened? Did you not want to sleep in your room last night?
Did you not want to go ice skating this morning? I mean, like, what, did Henry drug him? Because, I mean, like, what, like, also, if you're sleeping, like, if you're laying there to protect someone, you're probably not going to want to sleep deeply. I mean, this he was zonked out.
She could have easily been murdered, and he wouldn't have.
And they were putting on their skates, and he was still sleeping. Okay, I LOL'd at a bunch of times in this. Hey, Mark, don't fuck with me. I mean, he can't even sell it. He couldn't even sell it. And then, this would be my favorite. Looking for a midnight snack?
Oh my God. So, before that, after all of this, right?
I was laughing out
loud. He says he's going to kill the sister. All of this stuff has happened. And yet, they decide to go back up to that treehouse together. Maybe not go up to a treehouse with a psycho.
Yeah. I know. Christina, this movie's so stupid, I didn't even think about that. That's how dumb it is. All the way
back up into that huge freaking... And how easy is it for you to kill somebody after that? Just boop,
push.
Oh, he fell off because there were no sides.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe that. But then it comes to the midnight snack thing, right? Mark, what the fuck are you doing? You're trying to make yourself look crazy now. You were insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane.
Oh, throwing all the food away, and he thinks someone's
shoving it with a knife, squirting it everywhere. I mean, that was a bit much. Come on. Oh my. Oh my. And then she finally decides to be a mother and check out his playhouse. Oh my God, where have you been?
Yeah.
This kid obviously has all kinds of tools and stuff. He makes this freaking man-sized dummy. It's like, where the fuck have you been? And again, it would have been fine if she was mourning her child.
Yeah.
And they made it look like that was what's happening and that she was intentionally a vacant parent.
They do show her on the cliff grieving.
She does. Yep.
He
she
says,
stands up there.
she goes out there to think about Richard.
Yeah.
And Macaulay, and then Henry even says at one point something to Mark about like, oh, if you think she'll never, what was it? She'll never love you. Or I don't know, something about the mother. Yeah. He's like, just ask Richard. And as soon as he said, it's like, I mean, Mark, I mean, there's nothing really stopping Mark from saying, can I speak to you guys privately for a minute? Your son, it killed your other son.
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes jokes about it. And he killed a dog and he threw him down the well. I mean, like,
yeah, there's things that have happened.
Just drudge the well and pull up the dead dog and there's your answer.
Yeah. There are, things that have happened, and there's no reason why he couldn't find a moment to talk to the mother about this. And he did try at one point, but, I mean, come on. It's really badly written.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about the ending. Believe it or not, I still love the ending.
Yeah.
I think it is so suspenseful. As bad as this movie is, the ending is really strong. And I think that the acting by Wendy Crewson and Elijah Wood, not Macaulay, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
But is so strong and convincing. And I actually watched the featurette on the DVD. And really quick, I want to give Christine a personal thank you, a public shout out.
Oh, well,
because for my birthday, you got me a DVD Blu-ray player.
I did.
And now I can go to the library carefree because my DVD player was acting peculiar because it's a million years old. And but I was able to get The Good Son from my library instantly, and I even watched the featurette. And they give everything away, so if you haven't seen this movie, why would you listen to this? But you know what I mean.
Right.
But they show everything, and these kids did all their own stunts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. So they really did.
Impressive.
And the featurette is interesting, is worth watching for that. Like the treehouse, they clearly, I guess digitally removed the cables and all that, but they were dangling off.
Wow.
They built a cliff on top of a cliff to have more control over it.
Sure.
But when they're dangling and falling, and Macaulay Culkin does the fall. He fell into obviously a net, 20, I don't know if it was 20 feet or something. But it's the kids really wanted to. The director's saying, it was actually hard. They, were too excited to do these things. Yeah. And, but yeah, that's why it looked, especially that cliff scene, that looks really authentic. I think there's a couple moments where it looks like it's not Macaulay Culkin, because of the blonde hair looks a little like a wig.
Yeah.
But for the most scenes, it's really those kids doing these physical stunts.
That's pretty impressive. Speaking of kids and performances, we should mention on Patreon we are going to be doing a little selfie story type of things where we're going to talk about our favorite child performance in a movie. Yeah. So tune into patreon.com/oldroommates to take a look at those. Mm-hmm. Just wanted to throw that in there since you were talking about that. Yeah. But
not that I think Elijah is outstanding, but he's good.
No, compared to Macaulay,
but I think we need to offset this review with
good. He just seemed more realistic.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, a lot of the scenes were a little bit nuts. Yeah. But I think a lot of the scenes were the writing.
Completely.
I blame the writing a lot more.
He didn't talk like a kid. Macaulay Culkin's character didn't talk like a kid. Maybe once or twice he sounded like something a child would actually say. Yeah,
and they would exactly. And that was probably, maybe that was the direction to say, all right, you're, mentally disturbed, and that was how he interpreted it, but it wasn't. It wasn't good at all.
What did you think about the ending, though?
I actually liked the ending also. Yeah. Yes, I did like the ending also. It was something that I always remembered, and it was, what I liked about it was so, very unique and very unpredictable. Yeah. You really did not think that was going to happen, and it's a powerful image with her hanging on the edge, holding on to two kids, and one's going to have to go. Yeah. And do you choose your own child, or do you choose the other child, or just let them go,
or do you let them both go?
Well, I think that was about to happen. But I really loved that. I do, like I said, I remembered from before her being a little bit more convinced of him being, mentally unstable.
Yeah.
For longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he did try to kill her.
I didn't like the very, very end where it cuts to the desert and it's just him standing, although it looks like a cardboard cutout on the sand. Remember, he's like, I couldn't help but wonder, like Carrie Bradshaw, like, if she had to do it all again, would she do the same thing? Of course she would do the same thing. He tried to kill her.
That was not necessary.
So this is filmed in Cape Ann, Maine. At the Split Rock Lighthouse in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And in Two Harbors, Minnesota. I thought it was actually all Maine, but I
would have guessed like Colorado or something.
Yeah. So more or less or about the same.
Less.
Yeah, less for me too. It's just not scary. It's pretty boring and it's more sad and sick than scary.
Yes.
But I do have a match game.
Hooray! As do I. Would you like to go first?
I'd love to.
Okay, go ahead.
Christina.
Yes.
In a deleted scene, Susan becomes so suspicious of all of these accidental deaths. She even got a life insurance policy on her blank.
Ooh. Oh my God. I don't know. Ding.
Ding. Wow. So she even got a life insurance policy on her blank.
On her cat?
Oh, damn it. I put cat. I did have cat and I changed it to fish, goldfish. Because he did try and kill that cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, was that Susan's cat? Probably not. But I was, yeah. But
gosh.
damn, I should have kept it a cat.
Damn it, you.
Damn it. We haven't matched.
We haven't. Well, we have one more chance here.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so here's my question. Oh, I do want to say something. You want to hear something so interesting?
Yeah.
So this is not about The Good Son. This is about The Color Purple, which we did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I meant to mention this to you, and I keep forgetting. The weirdest thing happened. I want to know if this has happened to you before.
Okay.
And you just reminded me of it because you talked about the DVD player.
Okay.
I get this DVD from the library.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it. And
Okay.
of course, Color Purple, this was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
The Color Purple is like 154 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a long movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm in the middle of watching it, and all of a sudden it stops and it goes to the main menu. And I'm like, what? Is this like a 2-disc situation going on? So I go to look at the case. There's no other disc. It was just the one. And I look up at the screen, and it said something to the effect of like side A. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is this like a double-sided DVD? And it was. I flipped it over thinking I was going to break my DVD player and the DVD. I'm like, well, I'll try it.
A lot of them, what I notice is that one side will say widescreen, one side says full screen.
I don't think I've ever encountered a double-sided DVD before.
Yeah.
It was so weird to me. I'm like, oh, wow.
But my DVD of The Color Purple played the whole movie. Not that it's a competition.
Yeah, mine was,
not that it's a competition.
It's totally fine. I must have got a better copy. Anyway, so, okay.
Yeah, your match game.
My match came. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so Henry's parents really should have seen this coming from a mile away.
No.
All over Henry's bedroom were posters of blank. They should have seen it coming.
All right. And this... Okay. Ding!
Okay, hold on.
It's between two answers.
All right.
Was this super easy for you?
Yeah, kind of.
It was between 2 for me. All right. Ding.
Ding.
My answer is...
Yes.
Oh, do you want to read the question again?
Henry's parents really should have known better. All over his bedroom were posters of...
Jason Voorhees?
Not bad. Not
Right.
bad. It could have gone anywhere, right?
Yeah.
I did Hitler.
Oh, my second was Psycho. Norman Bates.
I almost did Psycho.
Yeah.
Look at I did an A because I was gonna say Anthony Hopkins, but then I was like, no, I'll do
Anthony
Psycho.
Perkins. That's Hannibal Lecter.
Well, that was
Oh my
something in
God.
my mind too. Anyways,
Oh my God, The
oh my
Good
gosh,
Son.
The Good Son. And that's it for us in this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And please give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you're interested in more Old Roommates, including special episodes, bonus content, movie recommendations, and more, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com. That's patreon.com/oldroommates. Comments and ideas can be emailed to us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Old Roommates.
Thanks again for listening. This is Christina.
And this is Brian. Until next time.